What's up, everybody? I'm Ayla Brown with Country 102.5, and I'm here with Chris Young. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Absolutely. Thank
you
guys.
We love you, and I just want to say we had some semi-backstage T-shirts out there, and I personally went out with Helena, a member of our team, and we got to give away some backstage meet and greet passes, and people are so fired up to hang out with you and
Awesome.
meet you and hug you and say hi. What does that mean to meet the fans every show?
It's awesome. And honestly, just coming straight off of CMA Fest where we did 2 different 500-person individual meet and greets.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's worth it.
You still have a voice?
Yeah, barely. Last week, I barely had a voice. This week, I'm fine.
Good.
But it was one of those things where it's so cool to actually look at somebody and tell them thank you for listening to your music and supporting your music. And there's just really nothing like that. I mean, that's the reason that we get a chance to do all of this stuff.
Right. And you've had such a long journey. I'm actually an artist myself, and I opened up for you in Pennsylvania, and now you're headlining Xfinity Center. What does that mean to do the theater shows to now being out to a place like this, looking out to all of those thousands and thousands of people?
I mean, back in way before the theater shows, I remember being in a van, no trailer. We had all the gear like loaded up on top of us driving around. And
do you miss those days?
No.
You don't?
No, I don't. I don't mind. You know what the thing is that I miss
do.
that's fun sometimes is actually going back into like a small club and playing something. And we get a chance to do that like very, very rarely, and it's a lot of fun. But
well, I was going to say, you've done like Whiskey Jam in Nashville. You've done Losers, I'm assuming, because I used to live there for 9 years. I've seen you out at Tin Roof.
I've actually never
a bunch.
played at Losers.
You haven't?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. I've played Whiskey Jam because I know Ward Gunther, who is one of the guys that started it, and they've gotten me up there before. So being able to do that in Nashville is a little bit different, too, than doing it out on the road, some city you've never been to before. And so it's fun.
Are there any times that you still get nervous going out there, or do you get nervous?
I only ever get nervous when I have to do something that involves someone else's music, and they're there. So, like, we did a thing one year where Alan Jackson was being honored for the ASCAP Awards. And they're like, do you want to sing an Alan Jackson song? And I'm like, in front of Alan Jackson?
Yeah, what's that like?
Yeah, well, it's terrifying. But, I mean,
because of what?
Is fun.
Because you're scared that you can't do it justice, or that you're going to mess up the words, or what is it?
See, that's the thing. I'm never worried I'm going to mess up my own words. It's always someone else's. So, like, those moments, you're just kind of like...
Because you didn't write it.
And you want them to like it, too.
Of course.
I grew up listening to Alan Jackson. The last thing I wanted to get out there is him be like, eh.
Right. Can you imagine if like he didn't clap? But you're so good.
He just kind of stared at you.
You know exactly what you're doing. Everyone right now is talking about your Opry performance just recently.
Yeah, that song dropped today, Drowning.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever had a moment besides that where you've been mid-song and you're like, I can't do it anymore? Or was this the first time?
Nope, it was the first time. And it hasn't happened since on that song. I mean, that song is very important, but you have to understand the guy that I wrote that about, when I was on Nashville Star, when I was first getting started, they sequestered us in that hotel. So I lived 30 minutes down the road, and they would not let me leave to go wash clothes.
Yeah.
So the only way to get out of the hotel is he would come by and park his truck, and we would sit in the truck and listen to songs and just goof off and tell stories. And so knowing that I was right there next to that parking lot while I was singing that song on the Opry for the first time was just it was a moment. It was a moment.
So no other time since then?
No.
Well, we are so excited to hear you tonight, and I can't wait to see.
Are you trying to set me up to do it again?
No,
She's
no,
like,
I would never do that.
No?
I would never. But I will say, being able, as an artist and songwriter myself, being able to open up for you and now get to talk to you on a totally different level, I'm just really honored to be able to sit next to you. And thank you so much for loving country music, singing it, and being so great to the listeners at our station.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for being great to me, and thanks everybody that's already been sending messages about Drowning today. It came out this morning, and people have been just blowing my phone up.
Incredible. We can't wait to play it. Thanks, Chris Young.
Sure.